Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the first live trading stream of Good Morning NASDAQ of 2026. It's all three of us here, me, myself, and I, and Dom and Huddy. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, chat. Good morning, Dom. Good morning, Huddy. It is January 7th, the year of our Lord 2026, right, Dom? Say that right?
Yes, it is.
Sweetness. And yeah, like we said, we got some live trading for you. So we'll go over the watch list, we'll do the thing, we'll answer some questions, and we'll get out of here and wish you guys a lovely Wednesday, and then meet back for one Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So jam-packed Wednesday today. How are we feeling, gentlemen?
Feeling good, Professor Kyle.
Feeling good,
Great.
doctor?
Yeah, I'm still trying to get into the swing of things after being gone for a while. Something I've noticed, I'm not too into the predicting when we're going to get good markets and when we're not, but the last few months, I feel like it's been tough to make a watch list, and I recently started scanning more every night just for a lot of day ones that maybe weren't like the hottest plays of the day, but we're still had significant green days, just in case they turn into like 3-day breakouts down the line. And that number has significantly increased over the past week or so, where
I've
there
definitely
maybe
noticed
was
that too.
only a couple stocks that were up over 20% at the end of the day that were, worth looking at, that weren't just your opens or anything that trades big volume and is up 5 or 10%. But like last night, yeah, in the last 2 nights, I have noticed that I'm adding 5 or 6 or 7 stocks to a watch list. I
Mm-hmm.
might never do anything with them, but I gotta think that's some sort of indicator of some movement, because it's like not just the main stocks we're all watching, but there's some other stuff that's having decent 30, 40, 50% days. We'll see if anything happens with that. I think the SPY broke out yesterday. It's just right around those levels right now. We'll see if it correlates, if we get some plays in the next week or so. But we're all rooting for that, I think.
Very nice. Yeah, Spy looks better than QQQ. Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
Huddy brought one up yesterday, the Qs, and it was more of a higher lows and lower highs into an inflection point,
Mm-hmm.
and the SPY was just making higher lows into the highs.
Just going for it.
So
Alrighty, cool. All right, who wants to kick it off? Dom, Huddy, myself, whoever.
I can do it. Yeah, I got a ton of like those third eye type of watches, or if you're not in Clover, it's basically something Kyle said once where it was like, I don't have my main eye or my second eye on it right out of the gate, but maybe I have an alert set for it with my third eye. And so I got a couple of those. So if we want to rapid fire, like LHSW, okay, Theo, stop.
Mm.
MNTS, which actually is less of a third eye and more of a one eye now because it's up near the breakout level. I believe that one did an offering, right? End of the day, soaked it, had
Something
a
like
green day
that.
yesterday,
Let's see. I think so. Yeah, this little dip.
which is never something I put too much stock into. I'm not a fundamental guy who's gonna predict where the prices are, who's stuck from where, but stock shouldn't be breaking out 2 days later, I don't think, following offering. That's why CDU was kind of interesting over the past 2 weeks, because it did multiple and kept coming back. Generally, offerings are just perceived as negative, and so when stocks head higher, maybe someone's stuck. So watching that around that breakout level of 1170. Let's see here which ones are actually in play-ish. DVLT is a potential breakout. This isn't like my normal bread and butter one. It's one that where this recent run from 50 cents to $1.50 is unique after 3 big green days. There's a ton of resistance overhead behind this chart. I like this one a lot more back in September when it was breaking out multiple times and heading higher. Pretty good gap history, pretty good breakout history. That was a month where you probably could have traded it 3 or 4 times and made some money on the breakouts. So it's got a good history, but I would grade it a lot lower if I had to, because of the resistance overhead. It'd be one where if I can get tight enough risk and make 30 to 50 cents a share, I'd be really happy, versus a lot of them that were like, CDU, where it's like blue skies ish, and there's a lot more upside that is necessary, not necessarily quantifiable. I think it can go further than I think. I don't know if DVLT can go a lot further than I think with all that resistance. Then I think UFG was the only other one that I kind of had on watch. A decent volume day. It's kind of what the stocks I'm scanning for, I'm talking about, where it's not like you're hundreds of millions of volume on day one, but it's a decent move from the 70, 80 cent area into the $1.50 area. and holds up. And I think, a stock that I didn't see till yesterday, Sky Q, is kind of similar to that, where day one volume isn't all that great, but it gets on radar, then has a breakout and it heads much higher. So that is kind of what my watch list is littered with, is stocks that are in that like 3 day sequence. Um, Another one I just forgot about, AZI, which we talked about yesterday morning. I think someone asked a question about it, kind of popped right into that resistance in the low fours, ended up breaking over those highs just for a minute and then closed much weaker. And now is right back at that area. Was answering some questions in the room about this. Like, does it need another day to be a breakout? And in my opinion, it's like it is a breakout because yesterday it broke out, and until it has today's candle, like it still is a breakout. Like whether it is a continuation, I think CDU was another one that broke out intraday, closed below the breakout level, but then continued higher. This is kind of the TBD version of that, where we don't know what it's going to do, but it is technically a breakout from yesterday. And if it's still around those prices, maybe I would still trade it similarly, just a little bit different than the ones where we're buying the breakout and then it never looks back. So that one will be there this morning. So decent amount of stocks on watch. Only a couple of them are actually right up near the levels, but
Quite a lot. Alrighty, we got 4 minutes here. Huddy, do you want to rapid fire? If there's anything else you got?
Sure. I'm kind of in the same boat as Dom. There's a lot of stocks that I have a third eye on, but
Yeah.
nothing that's really all that actionable today. I guess I'm in BNAI for a breakout. I'm going to sell that at market open and then probably not touch it. Um, SLS, DVLT, both of those, I feel like I should already be short, so I'm probably not going to touch them today, but I'm watching them. And then LVRO, I guess, is the one that I kind of have half an eye on for a breakout. I just don't have high hopes that it's going to even sniff near 150, but I have a chart up and I'll watch it for an hour. And if it starts to bore me, I'll kind of maybe just put an entry and walk away. I honestly think I'm not going to take a trade today other than sell BNAI.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of that's exciting. The market. I think it's like everyone was waiting for the new year to start for a lot of potential plays to come around the corner, which is good because if you get 10 of them, 7 of them don't have to do anything, but you get 3 good ones a week or every other week, it ends up being a pretty good market. So yeah, for me, I had SIDU overnight. I thought we were going to have, when we recovered this red day, pretty much engulfing the entire thing. I thought, any big green day this has ends up gapping up. So I did take it long overnight. Sadly, this is the first time it is not doing so. So I did sell for break even. Not necessarily short for me though. It is extended. So it wouldn't shock me if this sold back off into the mid fours, but it's just not as predictable as if it were kind of blowing off like a multi-day run sequence. Having this red candle but coming back tells me like this could still just kind of chop around for a bit. So I rather not, find out or try to find out. So we're just going to leave it be. I did put a starter short on for CRML. This has had a nice 3-day bounce from practically the lows of high 6s to 13, so 100% now. My only worry is that this is kind of the trend we've been seeing on a lot of runners, right? We have CRML, you can look at USAR, right? USAR had a bounce, that one's gapping down today. You had things like LEU, LEU's got a 3-day bounce. I think OKLO's another one. Yeah, so they're all, I think RR had one but died yesterday. Yeah, so it's like there's clearly a theme going on with some of the bigger runners in the second half or in the late half of 2025. They're now kind of, maybe buyers who bought too high, took losses during October or during December for tax loss selling, but now are immediately buying back to start the new year. That's my guess as to why all of them are doing like the exact same pattern. So I'm a little bit worried that if the others don't do it, neither will CRML, but at some point, they're not going to just keep trading the same all year long. Like, sure, they've all had 3 days of bouncing, but, at some point that trend shifts. And if it shifts, will CRML being the most extended into previous resistance give me a good pullback? And so that's kind of the idea here. I just have a starter short on at 1240, risking highs of 1340. I will look to add if we do go, we do roll over, show some signs of weakness and go red-green. If it works, I would like to think it touches at least 11. If it gets really ugly, goes to 10, but I doubt it. I'm thinking, 10, 50, 11 area would probably be most likely. So that's the main watch. Terms of swings, new swings, IE is a possible one for me. This is a copper play, ironically. I saw the chart, thought it looked good, then looked into it and saw that it was copper. which I've seen a lot of social media talk about copper running because after gold and silver and platinum, what's left? Oh, the crappiest one, copper. So, or the least rarest one. So there's a world I buy this one. But then again, silver is also actually down today. So maybe the metals won't be too strong. So we'll see. But we'll keep an eye on SRML to start the day. Or CRML, sorry. And NASDAQ immediately right back green after a small gap down. A little strong for CRML, damn. Probably might have to stop out for a small loser.
Yeah, I'm terrified to short the metals.
Yeah.
Just kind of like one of those hot sector things.
Yeah. And this one isn't necessarily metals, it's more like it's a mining materials, but yeah, they could be.
The name is Critical Metals Corp.
Yeah.
Don't
But
tell
they
me
could
it's
be
not
mining
metals.
like iron, you know?
Right. Totally.
But so
Good
far, the
chart,
fourth
though, no
green day, this
doubt.
would be great. If it goes to like 15,
Yeah.
that'd be amazing.
Definitely a good looking chart.
Yeah, it's a nice 4-day move here. If breaks lows, though, that'd be a pretty big fail to where I might want to put something on. But we shall see. NASDAQ stuffed so far.
Yeah, Dom, I definitely like had the same thought about all these like charts that are setting up in like a 3 or 4 day manner. For like the past week and a half, I've been adding like 5 or 6 tickers a day.
Yeah, I don't. We'll see if the next month is hot, if that's an indicator. But I know that for the last month of the year, month and a half, there was a waste of time to go looking for extra stocks at night. And if I get annoyed with how many I have to scan for, then maybe that means that's the time to be clicking buttons.
Oh, we're doing it. Oh, we did it. All right, I'm covered. Very small loser. 5 grand. Strong, man. Look at this. Let's just hope it holds up all day. It's too early to tell, but a lot of volume. You know, we're already a fourth or so or a fifth of yesterday, and it's only been 2 minutes, which is pretty damn impressive. Yeah, look at that volume. Look how big that is. Huge.
And I would have been sick if it opened here instead of just spiked here.
Oh, up here at 13s.
480. Well, I'm talking about different stock, but whatever.
Oh, which ones?
Nothing.
Nothing.
We're not on the same page, Kyle.
SADU pulling a little bit. SNDK.
What was
the
the play there on Cedo yesterday that you were playing?
I just liked it that if it wasn't dying, it certainly wasn't a traditional breakout at all because it's just making a new high of a run. It's not like there's not multi days involved. But the fact that it recovered the entire red move told me that, hey, like whoever shorted here, or whoever thought that the run was over, it's clearly not. And so I thought, like, if it's not over yet and we're in such this vertical stage, it's like, okay, we're either going straight up or straight down. And so I thought if we're going straight up, we're going to have a parabolic, kind of ideally the best case scenario blow off move. But unfortunately, we just didn't do that. And so now we're kind of going straight down. But again, I'm not, it's not enough for me to feel confident shorting it. Not even confident, but at all wanting to short it, because it's like it had a move from 5 to 4 yesterday or Monday. They could have cared less yesterday. And so it's like, what's saying this is going to go back down to 4 today? It could, but not enough for me to short it, thinking like this is like another first red day, because it's not. It had a first red day, on Monday. So we'll see what it does from here, but I'm not expecting too much. But I could be told wrong. Who knows? I just don't know. Essentially, I have zero clue where this goes. Absolute zero. I can't even begin to guess where we end up today on this thing. SNDK was a massive runner yesterday. coming back after this gap down. This is also one I got a question in the chat of saying, would you look to short this? And I'm like, well, technically it doesn't fit the criteria of a first red day as much as it looks like it. It technically doesn't fit it. So for those reasons, I just can't get behind it. I could see it pulling back for sure. Like all stocks need healthy pulls along an uptrend, but because it doesn't fit the criteria, it's just not enough for me, and that's why I follow those rules, because this would be a loss if I just said screw it. It looks slightly like it, but not enough like it. But we're gonna give it a try anyway. I would have been losing right now. I'd be cutting it. So. CRML.
You see
higher.
SMX lately, Kyle?
Say it again.
You see SMX lately?
SMX. Oh yeah, I got crushed, right?
A crush.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Off that $100 breakdown.
1890 to 20 in about 2 weeks. Not even a week and a half.
Not even.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 trading days. It's insane. And here comes SIDU coming back. If this still finds a way to blow off, that'll be pretty annoying. Just because I had their idea, but the one time it doesn't have a big gap up after a big strong green day.
Pretty sure every time it has like a green day, it holds its 15-minute low. Like on every single green day.
Yeah.
This one really likes the previous day's low too.
Yeah, it's actually held it since down here. Since the 180s. Pretty impressive.
That one pisses me off. Actually, they all piss me off, to be honest. MNTS kind of going here. Not really going to do anything with that. Is MNTS in the sector?
I don't think so. Maybe like default it is, but it didn't. It never had a big run like the others did. Maybe this was like its version of it, but it was didn't even go like 50%.
Let's see to new highs, market hour highs.
Wow. This mother trucker, dude.
Did you stop out of that one?
SIDU?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you just kept
when it was
risk
going
the
red.
same,
Well, nothing for me at the moment. The only thing that's slightly in my brain is that if S or CRML dies, rejects hard enough, then I'd be open to shorting. But again, it's just tough because it's like I was looking for a move from, let's say, 13 at the highest to 11, but now we've spiked to 14. So it's like, do we only pull from 14 to 12? Or do we still make it to 11? Because that would be a pretty ugly candle if it did, which isn't impossible, but it makes it less probable.
Harder to believe.
Yeah. So it's kind of tough to trust and or get behind if it does fail. If this pulls to like 1250, now I have to think about, oh crap, do I chase it? Do I wait for a bounce? Do I not short it at all? It kind of gets me in a little uncertain limbo mode.
The gappers have really stopped gappulating here.
Yeah, I haven't looked much, but yeah, we haven't had many from what I've roughly seen. Right, not many big gappers to start the year. Everything's running, not gapping. Unfortunately. All right, let's see how hard CRML fails here. If at all. So far, holding view up. And if you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. Sandra asks, "What scanner are you using?" I have Thinkorswim, I have TradingView, I have Stock to Trade. They all get the job done. Q's new highs. Keep an eye on the CRML here. ASBP thoughts? It's 15 cents. Gapped over previous highs and failed. Big volume.
Looks like something I don't want to touch just yet.
Yeah. It also looks dilutive to me because anytime there's big volume, it fades. It doesn't go up. Right. The only green candles I see are here, which is probably this was probably news based, here on no volume, here on no volume, and every other day that has volume, crap. So first thought is it's dilutive, which is not something I'd want along. CRML. What do we do here? I really think it's going to fail. It just looks heavy, but it could always support right here. So I'm trying to refrain.
I would always think when you're shorting the overextended gap and crap for a first spread day, you're always looking for smaller volume, some sign of weakness.
Yeah.
But this one's trading crazy volume right now.
It's big. Yeah, it's not a good sign. It would almost bet that's where it's another limbo area where it's like it would have to fail hard enough, like 1250 or new low a day, then give you a bounce on lighter volume to prove that hey, it's not going to continue this trend, and then you hope it fades. So it's a little tough.
I'm confusing.
Yeah, a little bit extra criteria that doesn't make it fun. SIDU held 5 for now.
DVLT is testing the previous day's low.
Which one?
DVLT.
B or DVLT?
DVLT.
Okay, yeah. Slower mover, but slowly making its way. Today's the day that they record their supposed dividend. So it's funny that it's selling off today. But it also sucks because I don't know. I can't really be sure. I mean, I guess you only record it if you hold it through the 7th. So you'd have to hold overnight tonight to catch the dividend. But again, I'm not saying it because I'd want to be long for the dividend. The dividend is absolute trash. It's more of I wouldn't want to be short overnight because then I think I have to be part of paying the dividend if you're short, which is not preferred. Don't really care to do that.
I read it as dividend holders as of the 7th.
Right. So you have to hold it overnight on the 7th to record it. They look at all the holders that day going into the 8th, and then that's who gets the dividend.
Gotcha. It's confusing language.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just don't know the language.
I don't know. Either way, their dividend is, I don't know why it ran on that. Their dividend was warrant. If I read the PR correctly, it was you get warrants at $5. So, okay, you already can't exercise those warrants because they're hundreds of percent higher. And then the other dividend is that you get a meme coin, some no-name BS meme coin. It's that's a terrible dividend. All while they're doing dilution, right? They're they literally have active dilution, or they literally put out a 424B5 filing. What was it? Monday after hours. So it's how iconic that you're gonna do a dividend while simultaneously diluting at the same time. That's literally taking money from shareholders and then giving it back.
It feels better.
What's up?
That just feels better.
Yeah, but no change has been made really. Oh, I'm just looking at my P&L. I got stopped out of CHYM, which was a swing I had. Yeah, I broke these lows here, just barely, but very small loser. Just under $4,000.
INBS is kind of popping up a little bit.
INDS.
INBS.
Oh, INBS. Oops. Okay.
Just like another one I have half an eye on, but
Yep. Another
I think
one.
that one can
Another
float
one.
up there.
Someone asks, I thought you guys stream daily. Is that just sometimes on YouTube, but every day somewhere else? Thanks. No. Dom and Huddy hold it down. It's just different times. So like Wednesday's the only different time. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday are 8:45 Eastern. All right, things are starting to come apart now. SNDK had to be fancy with it, knowing it was gonna just barely break and then fold. It's a good 4%, nothing crazy, but or if you were the really best 52. Yeah, technically it was 50 cents. You had to risk yesterday's highs. You risk red green, you stop out.
Um,
You risk yesterday's highs, you're still in.
I mentioned that to you. I was like, there could be a 20-point pull here, and
Yeah,
with like good risk reward, it could be very worth it.
right.
But
Yeah, I
I
see
didn't
it.
like the gap
I mean,
down.
this is definitely due for a pullback. I wouldn't misconstrue it with a first red day because it doesn't meet the technical. This is only up $100 a share, which is really not even 50%. And yeah, some large caps don't need that big of a move, but I mean, I think at the minimum, even if you're a large cap, like even if you're the biggest company in the world, like I think 50% is probably the lowest I would go. And this is just
Like
isn't
you
going to
said,
get
it's
there.
like September. It took a whole month to go from 55 to 100, and then it did a 50-point move yesterday in a day. I mean, I
Yeah,
get it; it's a higher price, but
just huge. Yeah, huge move.
the range is opening up for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But also too, and partially why I wasn't leaning towards a short here because yes, it can pull back. But this wouldn't, even though this big of a move this wasn't a move I would think that puts a top in the run. Like sure, a short term top, absolutely, but like it wouldn't shock me if this just chilled for another week and then found a way to trend higher. It doesn't give me the ultimate blow off look to where I would think like, oh my gosh, this long term top is coming. You know. And it could be. I could be wrong on that statement, but I don't get those vibes. As big as the move was, um, I don't necessarily. I'm not convinced the top is in. Qs are going higher. BTU, another swing I put on yesterday. That one's failing so far. Lame. Thought I had the juice to keep going. Maybe still does, but not a good start.
I got the juice.
Volume's still pretty big on CRML. Someone asked Domino trade for you on MNTS. Let's look what happened.
No, I gotta get out of here. I got a pretty busy morning and waiting for some people to show up. That's why I keep looking over to my right.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not gonna be able to be on my phone, so I don't wanna. I'm all for buying and throwing a stop and forgetting, but
Some take a
none of
little
these
more.
are like, yeah,
Some take a little
I
more
don't know
attention
if
than others.
the only move I see there really is either buying the weakness. I mean, the breakout level is like 1170, so buying the weakness, risking off a random area and praying it bounces and breaks out, or buying high a day at like 1188 and risking like 1080 something there, so a dollar share. Then you probably still need a move to 15 plus to be worth it. Um, the other ones I see AZI kind of opened over the breakout level, held it for a bit, is now consolidating underneath it. But we'll see.
Nice. USAR, one of those bouncers, not really going anywhere. It's still kind of uptrending. What are the other ones doing? What's LEU doing? That's higher. So yeah, my fear for CRML today was they just keep going. Yep, Oklo. What was the other one? Like TMC was one. So yeah, failed yesterday, but come back today. So it's tough. Tough to get behind it. Unfortunately, my brain's looking at like this double bottom at 1280s like, yep, give it a shot. But it's tough. SIDU coming in. That's too bad. But it could technically hold red green here.
I think just let it be. It can set up better.
Yeah.
Like,
It's doing nothing.
Heidi,
you
I'm
should,
totally on the same page.
right? Like, if you want to be long from 3. Like,
Oh yeah, I'm not relonging it. No way. But just keep mental notes on what it does today.
I just want to see it go to 10.
That would be
I think
ideal.
it's gonna get there, but I don't think it's gonna get there all in one day.
All right, let's do last few minute questions, then we'll get on out of here. Trev has thoughts on AZI. I feel like we just mentioned that, right? If it consolidates, the better, but I don't know. Failing over the breakout level twice now. Once yesterday and now immediately out the open. Not a great look, you know.
No, it's kind of tricky. Yesterday was pretty volatile, but it even broke yesterday's high today just by a little bit. So maybe treat it like a double top and holds above like 370s tomorrow. Maybe get another little sequence.
Little sequencer.
Little sequence.
What do we think of CSIQ for a potential breakout?
Solar stock.
This
Is that what it is?
Yeah, this is not. There's not even near resistance.
It's not even near a breakout.
If anything, it's near support to die. And
You
if I
need
look at like a
you need Jesus if you think that's a breakout.
Which stock?
yeah, this is below every major moving average, below the 10, 20, and 50. This is not. If anything, I'd flip this chart upside down. It looks like it's going to break out to the downside, not to the upside. But it could hold. I have no idea. But essentially, no. I think you'd be throwing money at a fire, trading it at this current moment in time. Maybe it gets better, but not right now.
Your Grail is coming back. I
Grail.
hate that stock.
I mean,
I hate
a
those
lot of
swings.
stocks coming back to start the new year. Yeah, I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
Damn. I think EOS I saw yesterday was going too, right? Yeah, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. It's so funny. I mean, I always know there's tax selling every year, but this year for some reason was an insane amount because the bouncing immediately starting January 1st, like we haven't seen this in quite a few years, in my opinion, at least from my memory. Pretty funny how just so many stocks are just immediately ripping back. Everyone was just waiting. Also, how do you manage and allocate risk for swing trades? I would watch Kuomagi's stuff. He talks about it, right? You want to put only 5, 10, 15 at most, maybe 20, 25% of a position or of your account in a position. CRML, man, I just have a feeling this thing's going to drag me in at some point because it's weak now.
Can't ignore that daily chart.
So now it makes me wish I was short from 1280. And we'll try to catch this fade because watch, I have a feeling it's just gonna go there without bouncing, and then I'm gonna miss it. But I can't chase it here. I would need a bounce back to 1280. Anyways, last couple questions. How do you choose which runner to put on your watch list for the first Green Day bounce? I figured it could be a long list and wouldn't know which one to catch. Do you have any
Watch for
advice there?
stocks that run super huge and then put them on a watch list. So like anything that runs, let's ballpark it, 300% in a matter of 3 to 5 days, I'd probably be watching those for first green day bounces. So you just got to scan. You just got to be here at the market and make sure you're keeping tabs of the biggest runners on the biggest volume.
Anything to add there, Dom? Or Dom leave? Oh, yeah, Dom left. The only thing I would
Dom
add,
had to
which is
go.
what I think Dom would say, is to add on top of what you just said, Huddy, of like you want big moves and then not just any big move, like because you could look at things like AZI, because I think what you're asking, Nolan, is like, you see so many runners like we've seen right now, and you're like, well, how do I know which one's going to be first green day? Well, most of these runners aren't set up in a way to offer first green day. Like AZI, even though yes, has run from 2 to 4, this isn't special, like it's not because you want. I view first green days and first red days, the actual setups, as inverse of each other. They don't actually play out the same way, but the concept is the same, which is like a first red day is because a ticker has run too much. A first green day is because a ticker is sold off too much. And the only way you get it sold off too much in a healthy way that will offer a bounce is if it ran too much. So it's like you have to look at tickers that had a good run and then a great pullback to offer then one last good bounce, right? So like, I'm trying to even think of more previous examples that I don't even know. Was IZHL one? I don't think it was. Or I don't even remember the ticker. Or IXHL. Was that one? I just know it was a good runner. I don't know if it was a good bouncer. Not really. It didn't really offer any of that. But the point is the factors there, which like you want a big run so that when you get a big pull, you can get a bounce. Now the bounce necessarily wasn't immediate, and none of these were first green days. And I wouldn't really call this a first green day because it was a whole other separate run. But that's the idea, right? I'm trying to look. I'm gonna go through my watch list or my recent trades. See if
There haven't been many like you would expect like BYND and OPEN to have good first green days.
yeah.
They didn't really.
And these didn't either. Yeah, BYND. BYND was pretty dilutive though. But some people made money on this if you sold soon enough, right? Longing it from like 2 to 230. But again, some green days are much bigger. I think was BMNR one that had a really good one? No, it wasn't B. What was the other crypto ticker?
SBET. SBET.
SBET. That was one. I mean, this one turned into a huge runner, but it's hard to see because the green days didn't end green. But if you were there for a short period of time, like this one has a huge move from 30 to 120, then pulls back from 120 to practically 50. This long here from 60 to 80, even though it failed very hard, so you can't overstay your welcome. That's kind of where your green days would come from. Not that any of these have held well or held for long, but they're there. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, honestly, not in terms of what I remember Dom trading. I don't think there's been any really solid, traditional first green days in a while. Because the way I used to play them, I don't play them anymore. But the way I used to play them years ago was like I would be too slow. I actually would never catch the first ground bounce move. I would wait till they close near their highs and then literally take them overnight for a gap up. I'm trying to think. Was there even one remotely? There was one I tried to do. What was it? It's gonna really bug me because it was was it open? No. Although I do think I caught some of open on this day, but again, it just failed so hard. But again, this wasn't an overnight. The next night, I don't know. It usually happened on OTCs. Was HGraph a good one? I mean, kind of like this. Again, this isn't a first green day because, again, it bounced and failed. But let's put it this way. Had this bounce happened here in a perfect scenario, I would have taken it overnight and then sold this day for a small, 10% winner. Nothing crazy. I used to do that a lot. But, again, those really only worked well with OTCs for the most part. So
Those were great for small accounts though, because you didn't.
Oh, yeah, because I was under the
PDT
PDT,
trade.
and so I had to save day trade. So taking them overnight was literally perfect, So
During the pandemic, when I started like a small E-Trade account, that was literally what grew it.
Yep. Well, alrighty, folks.
So
We're gonna head on out of here.
MNTS
What's up?
seems to be the only runner of the current
Of the day.
stride right now. Something to keep an eye on.
Very nice. Yeah, going forward. Cool. Yeah, higher the better, please. Alrighty, folks. that is our time. We're going to get on out of here. If you didn't get your questions answered, feel free to come back on Wednesday or join the room, whichever you prefer. Like and subscribe. And we wish you a very Merry Wednesday, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.